Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Cristal Maldonado. I'm so excited to be reviewing this book. I'm reviewing this book as part of the Hear Our Voices book tour. I want to thank them so much for giving me an arc of this book. It was a delight to read and I am super hyped to talk to you all about it. So in this book we're following a fat Puerto Rican girl who has a crush on a popular guy in school. The problem? He has a crush on her best friend who's black, skinny, and beautiful. But when he asks her out to a dance, she starts thinking that things might be looking up. Still, life isn't easy when she has a mother obsessed with weight loss. So Charlie has to navigate her life trying to fully embrace her beauty as a fat girl while at the same time feeling like her mother doesn't think she's beautiful and doesn't think she's good enough. Sprinkle in there that one of the boys in her art class seems to have a thing for her, and Charlie's life is complicated. I rated this book 5 stars. I loved it so much. I thought it was so good. Like, while I was reading it, I couldn't believe how good it was. I was so hooked and obsessed and I loved it so much. One of the things that was so incredible about this novel was the complex relationship between Charlie and her mother. The two of them had so much tension, so much pent-up emotion. They were always in conflict. It was so difficult for them to find common ground. And wow, it was so good and it was so heartbreaking, especially because of the interactions between Charlie and her mother. I would say that this is a difficult, very difficult book to read if you have body image issues, because some of the things that Charlie's mother says and makes Charlie start thinking is so upsetting and so sad and can really dig down into your skin, because the author doesn't hold back. The author doesn't try to sugarcoat this dynamic and sugarcoat how painful these conversations can be. So let me just read one of the passages where Charlie's mom, I believe, has just offered her another weight loss shake and Charlie's like so frustrated about it. She tells me if I just replace one meal a day with them, I can really start to see some results on my body. My unruly body that needs to be controlled, I guess. And I can finally start living. Like, it's impossible for me to live now in this body I have. Like, it's right there. It's right there. I can't say it any better than the author has. It's such a complicated relationship, and truly the dynamics that play out because of it are extremely rich because of that tension between them. I especially appreciate that Charlie has this conflict where she wants to love her body, she wants to embrace it. She sees pictures on social media of women with bodies similar to hers and she's like, they're so beautiful, they look so incredible, they're so stylish, but she can't seem to apply that logic on herself, which I think is something that happens to so many of us. In our minds, we accept something and we think it's beautiful and we think it's amazing, but when we have to turn it on ourselves, we're kind of like, no, I can't do that. How could I do that? So again, love that the author did that in this book. Speaking of the complexity of Charlie's character, I loved that she wasn't perfect. She wasn't the perfect character. She didn't always think the right things. She didn't always say the right things, but she knew. It was the perfect representation of what it's actually like to be a human being, because she had so many moments where she was jealous of her best friend, but she knew she shouldn't be. She knew she shouldn't take it out on her best friend. She knew that she shouldn't say certain things to her best friend, because ultimately it's just a method of her trying to make herself feel better, make herself not feel so inferior. So I thought that was so brilliant. I loved that we had a main character who made mistakes, who understood that she wasn't always doing the right thing and that she had place to grow and that she had so much work to do to be the person she really wants to be. I also have to say that I really liked Charlie's friendship with Amelia. Their dynamic was so great and so realistic. I loved that it wasn't, again, it wasn't perfect. They weren't always the perfect friends to each other. And even though there was one point where I was so mad at Amelia because of something she said to Charlie, I couldn't help but also be like, well, Charlie also made her mistakes. This is not a perfect relationship, and both of them have to work to heal the wounds they've caused in each other. So getting to explore that was so wonderful. And I'm so happy that this book tackled different relationships that Charlie had in her life. It wasn't just about her mom, it wasn't just about her best friend, and it wasn't just about her falling in love. It was about all these things all at once. And it was also about her having lost her father, and her connection to her Puerto Rican roots is through that father, and feeling distance from that side of her family. And it had a lot. This book had a lot, and that is what made it so incredible, because it didn't drop the ball on any of it. It delivered such well-rounded conversations about each and every one of these relationships that Charlie had. To elaborate a little bit more on Charlie's relationship with her dad and her dad's family, I have to say that that was a part of the book that I really resonated with. Ironically, even though I didn't grow up in the same situation as Charlie. Charlie grows up not really knowing how to speak Spanish. She puts distance between herself and her relatives, and there's this one scene where she's at a family party and she feels so outside of the dynamics. And I have to say that I totally understand that. Like, that's something that happens in Puerto Rican families even when you grow up in the island. Like, obviously it's not going to be the same conversations. You're not going to have people make fun of you for not speaking Spanish, because when you grow up in the island, obviously you speak Spanish. But it's still this situation where you feel like an outsider, and you feel like everyone is so close-knit and you can't make a space in there for yourself. I've had very, very similar experiences for most of my life. As a shy kid, it was very difficult for me to navigate family events. They were just too much for me. I didn't know how to speak up. I didn't know how to make a place for myself. I was too awkward to fully participate. And of course that also marked me as separate, because it is not acceptable or usual for you to be shy. As a Puerto Rican, you're expected to kind of just join the party and be totally cool with that. And that was not my vibe at all. So I appreciated that, and I could understand where Charlie was coming from in that scene in particular. So yeah, I ended up feeling seen by that, even though it's not a perfect representation of what's happened with me as well. But you know, that's life. You don't have to perfectly relate to something for it to still hit home. And finally, I have saved the best for last. Now I'm going to talk about the romance between Charlie and Brian. The best thing that has ever happened to me, ever. They are so cute. Brian is my baby. Like, you don't understand. None of you can understand how much I love Brian, and how I would lay down my life for him, how I would do anything for him, and how I need 100 million characters that are like him. Because not just characters, I need 100 million love interests that are like him, because Brian is the perfect specimen. Brian is the perfect boyfriend. He's perfect. Like, he is so good. He is so good. And if you've been feeling like, you know, romances between a white character and a character of color are great, but I really want a book where there's a romance between two characters of color, you've come to the right place. You're here. You have arrived. We have Charlie, who's fat and Puerto Rican, and we have Brian, who's chubby and Asian, and they're perfect. So perfect. You don't understand. You have to read to understand why I'm such a mess. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you textual evidence of why I would lay down my life for Brian. Okay, this is still early on in the book that I feel okay sharing it. The Valentine Brian's made for me has an intricate drawing of a typewriter etched in ink and filled in with watercolor. It's beautiful enough to be a piece of art you'd find in a hipster gift store, one so irresistible you don't mind the hefty price tag. Beneath the drawing, in Brian's handwriting, it says, "Just my type." I turn it over delicately to find that on the back he's written, "To someone who makes my workday wonderful. Happy Valentine's Day, Charlie. Brian." Brian is so precious. When I say he's the sweetest, I mean it wholeheartedly. Brian is like the perfect supportive boyfriend. Like, he is so caring. He pays so much attention to Charlie. He's always keeping track of her interests and making thoughtful gifts to her, and always trying to be so patient and understanding of Charlie even when she's being difficult, even when she's very hard to love and not be upset with. He tries so hard to see things her way, and it's beautiful. And I don't know what else to say. Like, I would just be repeating myself, because there is so much beauty in everything that Brian does, and I'm so happy I got to read this book with him. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this book except that it was amazing. I would highly encourage everyone to pick it up. I am so excited to get a physical copy of this in my hands and annotated, because it's great. It's freaking great, and I'm speechless. As you can see, I am speechless. So that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will have the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.